I got a little bit of a desire to do some more custom mapping. I mentioned the Smile 2 movie a lot. Uh, that movie, I've been really thinking about that movie a lot lately. I haven't actually watched it, but I've been looking for a download and I really can't find one. The only viable ones I found was one that was, Spanish audio. And it's like, really, dude, 5.5 gigabyte MKV, and you couldn't find the space to put the fucking English audio track on there. And then the only other one I found that might have worked um, was telling me that I can't download it because I'm on a VPN. And I'm like, dude, I'm not on a VPN, right? And it's like, I'm so sick of all these, even these download sites wanting to put their CDN bullshit restrictions on everything. Oh, we go to, I got a robot wanting to prove I'm real, right? And it's like a fucking illicit download website, you stupid fuck. But, um, like this one, it's my only two options were either fucking Persian subtitles or, Persian audio or whatever. I mean, that's how they described it, right? It's like, and you just know that the subs aren't going to be fucking soft subs, right? They're going to burn them into the video just to be a piece of shit, right? And I would have settled for that, but they won't even let me do it. It's like, dude, this is some random fucking Iranian or whatever, nowhere download site, and you're gonna fuck me over? Now I don't give a fuck what the West does to your bitch ass. Like, holy fuck. I've gotten tricked so many times with, because the problem is I just, for multiple reasons, I'm limited to direct downloads, but then I'm also limited to how I can direct download, and I really need to be able to download in such a way that I can auto resume or whatever. And most of them aren't going to let you do that. So the restricted set of possibilities for me always end up being some motherfucking, it's like they put both languages, but no, you only get the one we want on there. And it's, of course, they're not going to have English on it or whatever the fuck they do. And I've gotten some where they will just like intermittently just have their like scene group name fucking burned into the video here and there. It's like, really, dude. Um, I think it should say a lot when you consider the fact that I don't think I've watched a movie that's more recent than like 20 years ago. Like, seriously, I think the last movie, like modern movie or whatever I've seen was Taken or something like that. Or I don't know, maybe like Zombieland or something. I mean, it's been a long fucking time. I mean, if it hasn't been 20 years, it's been at least 15. And what was funny is that, back 10, 15 years ago when, downloading them was so fucking easy that buying them was truly purely just a choice. I was buying movies all the fucking time, right? I mean, there's some movies I got multiple editions of. I used to collect Blu-rays. I still have them, but I don't buy them anymore. But now at this point, it's like, dude, if you're going to try so hard to stop me from downloading this motherfucking movie, then I'm for sure never going to fucking buy it. But if they would just let me download it and fucking watch it, it might be a movie that I buy 2, 3 fucking editions of. I mean, Fear, I bought the original release, I bought the expansion separately, then I bought the Ultimate Edition. Those are on disc, by the way. And then I bought it on Steam, right? So, like the Ultimate Edition on Steam. So, you know what I mean? Like, some of these games, even, I've bought 3, 4 fucking times throughout my life. And like that, like, but it doesn't matter because it's like, well, but that's not a fifth sale we would have got. You criminals. But like, it should say a lot when I haven't watched anything in so fucking long. That that Smile 2 and like Megan 2 movies. Those are the only movies I've seen clips of that looked even remotely worth watching. And I'm actually pretty interested in watching the Smile 2, but at this point I might never. If I can't get a download the way I need to get it, then fuck it. But what really appeals to me about it is the sort of metaphor or commentary or whatever on like perception, and but like also sleep deprivation, false awakenings, sleep paralysis, all that shit. If you watch the movie, at least the parts that I've seen, it really does feel like a nightmare, like I've had, where I have multiple false awakenings, one after. It's like I wake up into still dreaming, and then I figure out I'm dreaming, and right. and then you wake up with sleep paralysis. That's always fun. But watching it, it really does feel like a visual representation of one of those kinds of dreams. The practical effects are great. One of the most interesting parts to me, though, is the whole Morris guy thing. The biology of it is pretty accurate. I've already mentioned why I don't see why a fucking supernatural demon would not be able to tell the fucking difference. But I don't know, something about it I just found appealing. And when I first saw the guy, I kept thinking, is that the monk guy? He was also in Pain and Gain as like the main like good guy, or like whatever, whoever they're trying to like get his money or whatever. But I looked at some video and they said this is actually one of the dudes that was on House. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. At this age, the way they look now, they looked similar enough to where I almost thought it was that guy, right? It would have been pretty funny if it was Monk though, but or fuck the way he is in fucking Pain and Gain. If they made a parody of it, that'd be pretty hilarious. But it's something about it. I just find it just appealing, just the aesthetic, if nothing else. But I don't know. It sort of got me into working on that horror themed map I've been doing more recently. And so I made a comment about it, and then I actually did it, where like I wanted to get the laugh sounds from Doom 3, because Betruger has some of the best laughs of all time, right? And there's also one that plays and the skeleton moves and you hear a laugh. And I eventually found them, but I had to dig through the PK3, or well, it's a PK4, to fucking like. I hate how they label the shit. Like it's all spread out all over the folders. And I don't know. I eventually found them, but the one I was making in for episode 2, Source Engine, I was using like Alex laughs. So basically, it's like spooky skeletons, and it's just this heavily scripted little kind of Hall of Scares kind of thing or whatever. And I pretty quickly got the laughs from Betruger and a couple others from Doom 3 into the engine, and put them in the level. I pretty much it was real easy to just swap them out. And I play tested a little bit, and it looks a lot better now, or sounds a lot better. But I made a couple custom textures where I pretty much Googled like spooky face or like whatever. And there was one that I used in there, but because I've been kind of obsessed with that movie, I actually downloaded a picture of the Smile 2 guy and, the face, like the demon or whatever. And I made it, I like cut it out and, made it into a texture. And now I've got that in the level. Because there's this one part, you go into this like kind of, crawl space area, and when you come out, if you turn back around, you'll actually see it up in a hole in the cinder blocks of the wall, and then you'll hear a laugh, and it just kind of like slowly moves out of view, right? There's another part that I've got where you're like get teleported to this area with like it's like a cabin sort of thing, and of course there's an axe or whatever on the table, and the body's covered up. But then I put a thing where you could see through the slats or whatever of the wall, that there's like eyes back there looking at you. It's not the Smile 2 demon, it's a different one. It's actually the one I had originally downloaded. But I used to draw shit that looked like that all the time when I was younger. Although for the last probably 20 years I've been mostly on 3D stuff, with level design. Although, at a time in my life, I wanted really bad to get into like special effects for like horror movies and all that. I had Day of the Dead on DVD, and I loved watching the special features of how Tom Savini would pull off the gore effects and this and that. But I don't know, it's like a lot of other things. The social terrorism gets in the way, and so what it was funny is I was watching one of the clips of Smile 2. And well, first of all, one of the things that you don't really need to even watch a whole movie to really be able to tell if you like it or not, or kind of get the point of the movie. Because movies are like the opposite of porn, right? It's like with movies, they put all the good parts on there, right? Right. It's like porn, they take the good part out. But like with movies on YouTube, you only get to see the good parts, right? Like if you wanted to watch the whole thing, they would say it was piracy, but all the parts that matter are already clipped out on fucking YouTube or whatever, right? I just always thought that was stupid. But there's this one scene where she's like in the car with her friend, except her friend's not actually there. And, so supposedly the demon is supposed to, like, fuck you up with, like, your suppressed trauma or whatever. And it's like the bitch just looks at her and says, everyone hates you, or no one cares about you, or like whatever the fuck she says. And, like, I almost laughed at that, right? And it just kind of shows how easy humans have it when their idea, like, their worst fear is everyone hating them. It's like it's some stupid smile demon thing said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, I know. I've known that for 35 fucking years, right? You got anything new? It's just stupid. Like humans really show how easy they have it when it's like the worst thing they could come up with is just the fucking easiest day of my life, right? But, I suspend disbelief in this and that. But for the most part, I really like the concept of the movie. Um, I made a comment on another video of I'm sort of dreading, uh, you know, Smile 3, right? Because it's like, oh, well, now there's like a bazillion motherfuckers infected. And that's just like I love when they just bake in the retcon like that. Well, let's just, infect, 10,000 motherfuckers. So any movie we make for forever, we can just say, oh, well, but I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who saw the thing on TV, right? And it's like, really, that's it. And it's just too easy, right? Like a lot of times I hate these movies because, it's just, they're all powerful. They can't be killed. And it's like, that just ruins it if you ask me. And I don't know. In my opinion, that's lazy writing. But I think the whole thing, at least from the clips I've seen with the Morris character in Smile 2, is really just it's just really fascinating in my opinion. It also kind of helps I have a thing for like abandoned building, bullshit like that. Um, but from what I've seen, I actually like the kind of fan theory that Morris was never real. In my opinion, that makes the most sense. And at the very least, I think it would fit the tone best. So I hope they don't fuck up and not do that if they make any sequels, and don't try to make it some smile in space bullshit. Right? It's like Jason. Even with Super Mario, like they run out of fucking ideas. Everything has to be more larger than life than before, and that's just a bullshit cop out too. But maybe if I saw the full movie, it'd be a little bit different. And I'll continue the level design stuff more, but I'm just saying what I think while I'm thinking about it. But some things only avail themselves from a full viewing, right? So, for an example, people were saying Pizza Hut at first, and I was like, yeah, it looks like one of those old Pizza Hut buildings, but there's plenty of stores, not even restaurants, just stores that have an old Pizza Hut building, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But then I saw some other clip where they actually explicitly say it's a Pizza Hut, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. Well, first of all, I don't know. Product placement, if you ask me, is like literally the product is placed there, right? It's not like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever, right? But either way, on that one, it's like, okay, fair enough, right? And so maybe there's some things that if I saw the full movie, I'd be saying something else. Maybe I wouldn't even like it if I saw the whole thing, but I don't know. I think it's been kind of interesting. But yeah, I love that whole idea. He meets some random dude at a bar and he's like, oh, yeah, so could you like follow me to this abandoned freezer so I can kill you? You know, not the weirdest conversation on a date I've ever had, but it's probably close, right? It's kind of funny, but I don't know. I just the whole aesthetic of that. I love that abandoned buildings, decrepitation like that, fucking or dilapidation. I don't know. It feels almost like a movie version of Fear, right? Not necessarily on anything but other just like the aesthetic of it. But yeah, 15 minutes.